So we have our explosion going off, but there's a problem with it. The problem is that the touched listening event, it listens and it executes this, which is creating an explosion every time the part is touched. Okay, and so it's listening like constantly throughout the playing of a game. And so what happens is the player jumps onto the platform, touch is fired, explosion is created, player moves, touch is fired, explosion is created, player moves, touch is fired, explosion is created. So we don't want that. We just want one explosion, right? So we got to put a couple of weights in there. And so let me just show you that that's actually happening. And maybe in the scripts I can actually, let me stop that. And in the scripts I can print out like explode or something every time an explosion occurs. So we'll do that, and we should see explode print out down here. Okay. And we'll see how many times it explodes. So let's go ahead and turn around, come here. You see that? We got like 4 or 5 explosions when only one really should happen, you know? So the way that we're going to stop that from happening is we're going to use what roblox calls debounce. Okay, I'm not sure what the name's all about, but that's the variable name that they use. Okay, so we create a variable called debounce, set it equal to true at the top of your program, and we're going to say in here, if debounce is equal to true, then do all of this stuff, which is create the explosion and set it to the right position, and then put end at the bottom. And so a couple things that you should be aware of is that this if statement should be indented once. Okay, the body of the if statement, which is what's going to happen if this expression is true, should be indented twice, 1, 2. And then the end of the if statement should be right under the if, indented once. Okay, so how this function is going to run is it's going to say, okay, the part was touched, come up here, run this function, check if that's true. It is, because I set debounce equal to true. Create the explosion, end the if statement, end the function, and then we're done, right? But the whole point of this is that we want to add a little bit of weight in between parts touched, right? So he can't just like run around the platform and the platform explodes 7 times. So the way that you can do that is inside the if statement, right away, the very first thing is you set debounce equal to false. Okay? Set it equal to false. That way, the next time it's touched, the bounce is going to be equal to false. It's going to come in here, try to run this function. This is not going to be true because the bounce is not equal to true. It's equal to false. Since this is not true, it's not going to do this. Okay. Okay. Well, great, and that will ensure that only one explosion happens, and we can go ahead and test that. Now I'm going to jump on here and just start running around. One explosion should happen and no more. Okay, but we don't want that to happen. We want him to be able to jump off, jump back on, and bam, another explosion happens, right? We just don't want it to go like a machine gun, like bam, 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 bam. Okay, so what we can do to fix that or make that happen is inside of our scripts on the false, we're going to wait a little bit, like 0.5 seconds, right? Give the player a little bit of time to jump away before the explosion takes his Lego life. And then we're going to come down to the bottom and we're going to wait a little bit more. Let's wait another second. And we're going to say debounce is equal to true again. Okay, so the first time he jumps on, this is true. Set debounce equal to false. Wait a little bit. Explode. Boom. Wait a little bit more. Set debounce back to true. Right? So then if the part is touched again, then we will go through that same process. Right? We're giving ourselves a little bit of buffer time so that the player can jump off and only one explosion happens, and then when he jumps back on, it will do the same thing and one explosion will happen. Okay, so let's go ahead and test this out and see what happens. We'll play. We will turn around. Boom. Should explode once. Okay, now come back. Should explode once. Did it explode? Ah, I fell off, couldn't check. Alright, so let's wait until I come back to life and we'll check to see if this is happening the way it should happen. Bam, explosion goes off. Bam, nope. bam, explosion goes off. Okay, so I think the wait might be a little bit too long, so I'm going to change it from 1 second over here to 0.5 seconds. So in total, there'll be 1 second of wait in between, checking for letting the explosion happen. So that's that, and we'll talk a little bit more about explosions in the next video.